to write about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist. Am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.
That was great sounds of Watts with Outside on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. EZ BlueZ, you are better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on Behind the Brand?
Ladies and gentlemen, did you ever have a moment where you're like, something does not fit right perfectly here, but you do truly understand? One day I was at the racks of beer, and in walked a trio. Trio of bards, we'll say. Trio of bards. And there, with an acoustic guitar, they held office and court and brought everyone together for some amazingness and free acid. Which, I mean, doesn't want a little bit of that in their lives? That's just fantastic. But it is with true honor and privilege that we are here today to welcome the amazing, the incredible, the insanely talented, and Preston's new favorite name for a band, Milk Street.
What's up?
What's going on?
What's going on?
First and foremost, where did the name Milk Street come from?
Milk Street came from, me and Gabe had gone to see our favorite band at the time, Joyce Manor, which is why we actually started really playing music together, was because we both loved like Joyce Manor and stuff like that. So we finally got to see them, and we were trying to think of a new band name. And we were trying to get out of Boston before the traffic, and we whipped it out of there and almost hit a street sign, and it said Milk Street, and we were just so tired. Gabe looked up and was like, Milk Street, that's crazy. And then come to find out, Milk Street's where a lot of the local shows were happening in Boston, and where a lot of local bands, bands out of Boston, kind of got their start, and we didn't even know that. So we're like, that's that. After we found that out after we changed the name to Milk Street, but we were like, that's perfect. It all kind of lined up perfectly. But yeah, it's just a street sign we almost crashed our van into in Boston.
So from a street sign you almost crashed your van into, to now taking the van and going from state to state and city to city, here you guys are. We ran into you luckily at Beer Racks in East Haven. But you've come through and played a whole bunch of different places. You're actually friends with a lot of the show's friends as well. What has it been like to actually hit the road and be on the road? We get to talk with touring musicians a lot, but we never get to talk with them while they're actually in the touring vehicle heading back from tour. So I kind of want to get that point of view and perspective.
Yeah.
It's stinky in here.
It is stinky. It's very smelly in here right now. Incredibly.
It smells crazy. You wouldn't believe it.
We
you would believe it.
we were in DC last night, which was the last show of our proper tour. Washington DC, it's called Atlas Brew Co. We are driving back home to Maine because the last shows we have for the year are going to be hometown shows. We have one in our hometown and one in Portland, Maine. So we're kind of done with tour proper, and this is a big wrap up for us. Right now we're passing through Pennsylvania, Scranton area. It's been we've had a lot of moments where we're this is what we always wanted to do with our lives, and now we're finally doing it, sort of.
Yeah.
We're, obviously there's nights where there's going to be shows where there's no one comes out, but even then we're just we're jamming with our best friends every
exactly.
night.
And there are tough shows. There are even just tough nights, sleeping in the van and stuff.
Right.
But the thing is, somebody will, I've heard a lot of bands talk about this dynamic. Somebody will say something and it'll just immediately strike a chord with you, and you'll be engrossed in a conversation with your best friend all of a sudden. And it just makes everything, it just shifts the energy completely. And I think that's a big part of it too, is that we all we have our ups and downs with each other, but at the end of the day, we're helping each other out and bolstering each other up to do well on tour and perform well and enjoy ourselves and stuff. So that's a positive, but it is hard. It goes up and down, But I think at the end of the day, it's positive.
Yeah, like I had a bunch of people at where I work my day job were like, "Oh, you're going on a road trip," blah blah blah. I'm like, it's not a road trip. I mean, like we because it's not just like a lot of. I think there's some people have a misconception that it's like a vacation almost, but it's and you're getting to
Right.
play your music, and it is great, and we're so grateful. But there
Mhm.
are like nights with one of us steps in a mud puddle and their feet smell disgusting, and we're sleeping in a truck stop,
I'm so
and
sorry.
and we're and we're we're sleeping in the van in the middle of nowhere outside of Newark, New Jersey, which happened 2 nights ago. And shows get moved around while we're already on our way there in 12 hours from home, and but it's like every day is a new thing. It's an adventure. It really is like an adventure. We've been on go since September till now we've been on pretty much on the road with little intermittent breaks back home.
Right.
We've been going pretty steady away from home, and we're used to playing right around either Maine, Massachusetts, or New Hampshire, and we've gone farther for one-off shows. And Vermont now too is really like a hometown for us. But we've done a lot of one-off shows doing that. But touring's it's a whole nother beast. But it's been with all of its ups and downs, it's been so incredible, and we feel so grateful
and rewarding too. I think very rewarding at the end of the day.
Yeah. Every single show, whether there's people or not, the people that are there have really dug what we're doing, and that has been incredible. Uplifting as well. Like there's never been a show where people are like, oh, it's not my thing, or walk out, or like I don't really like it.
Even people who maybe aren't into the same kind of stuff as us tend to find something to enjoy about it. And I take a lot of comfort in that we have a song for everybody at the very least.
Yeah.
No,
Gentlemen,
you guys really do.
Yeah.
You
Very
guys
sorry to
really do.
interrupt. Easy, but it's good to hear all this information from you guys. But if you could just for the video, if you can just cut it off and just get audio only, it'll be definitely just beneficial just for us. Because like
Cut
the
our
back
video
and forth. Yeah. If
Yeah,
you want to
cut
just
your
turn the
video
video off
off.
and do like
Because
audio.
right now we see your ceiling more than we see anything else, and it's cutting into
Exactly.
the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and then anything else I can just splice up and stuff.
Yeah.
And we can just get like a good promo picture that we got from the email. We just put it over the so it has to be blank. We just show you guys some respect. So I think if we just get the audio portion, it'll just be great. You guys hear us really good?
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right,
Awesome.
cool.
Easy. Do what you gotta do, man. My apologies.
Well, no, I was gonna say you guys are really, really great with that, and especially considering I got to see you guys at more of like we'll say a pop punk type of show, but here you are showing up with an acoustic guitar and playing with the same type of energy, and it automatically threw me back to like going and seeing like Lemonheads or Soul Asylum and different things like that. Is this like something that you really fought out for your own sound, or was it just something that this is who we are and this is who we're always going to be?
We're super eclectic, I think.
Yeah. Like I always I started playing guitar
for better or worse.
On acoustic guitar. Is how I started writing songs, and I never had like a band growing up. There was no like musicians around where I lived at all, literally at all. So I'm from like a really small town. So, but I loved punk music. Like at the time, it was like Green Day, Nirvana, Blink, like all that stuff. And then I got into like more folk punk stuff like AJJ or the Front Bottoms.
Right.
And I always also loved stuff like Neil Young and Bob Dylan and Violent Femmes and Blind Melon and the Pixies. And I just kind of like a little bit of everything, but I always felt more comfortable on the acoustic guitar, and I felt more like expressive, I guess, and still do. But when we started the band, originally I played electric guitar for the first album, and we were very much like a punk band, and it had a very distinct sound. But I didn't care for like messing around with the tone, and I never was like into that, like chasing a tone or anything. I just was like, I like how the acoustic guitar sounds, and it's like one thing, and I can bend that thing and do it the best I possibly can and work within like the restrictions of what an acoustic guitar offers, and in that I feel more creative taking something like that is like defined and finite and bending it to be what I want it to be or to sound as cool as possible. So it kind of like, and even with the first album, I was like, I want to write songs that I could play an acoustic guitar, guys, and it kind of was just a thought. But then with this new album, I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and we're going to try to see how to make it sound the best it can. And then I still kept the pedal board I had from when I was playing electric guitar, and I have all my my fuzz pedals, and my overdrive, my distortion, and my all my everything. And I'm like, we were playing a show one night. I was like, oh, okay, I'll put it through these pedals and we'll see what happens. And it sounded great to the point where on the record there's even some recorded acoustic guitar where I put my acoustic guitar. There's some electric guitar on there too, but I put my acoustic guitar through my amp, and we just recorded like we would play live with my pedals. And it just sounds great. I love that sound. And we actually were playing with a band called The Worst one time. They're a bigger band from Maine. We were in New Hampshire with them, Littleton, and I had to use one of their amps. So I didn't have mine with me, and it was a tube orange amp, and I had been playing like solid state Laneys up until then. And I put my acoustic guitar through it, and I was like, that's the sound I've been looking for. Like whatever that is, the big tube amp and an acoustic guitar, which are like opposite ends of the spectrum. Like that sounds great to me. And then it just kind of stuck. Everything we've done, it sort of became what it is just through like an organic process of like just playing and doing what feels natural, and then like, you know, tweaking it a little bit along the way. But even the tweaks weren't like scientific or intentional. It was really just something random happened like that, where I used someone else's amp one night and I'm like, oh, this is sick. And then we add that to our like collection of sound. And then it just builds and builds and builds. Like everything's kind of been that way, which I think is really cool so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's really super interesting, because that's actually something that my bass player and I talk about all the time is treating everything like Mega Man, where, you know, you beat the boss and take the power. And that seems to be the best natural progression of how things grow and go. And I love that is the really the underlining layer of your story is we stumbled across it. It sounded good. So we're continuing to do it, and it's fun. You guys are so super fun.
Thank you.
What is it like to sit there and be on the road with your friends and be able to play, even if it is for the bands and their girlfriends, and half the bands don't have girlfriends?
Right. That's true. That's facts.
Real.
Yeah, we know. I mean, like it's really, you know, we've talked, like we've had some shows where it is like the bands and their girlfriends, and most shows we have, the bands are really cool. And, you know, sometimes you get a show where there's like, you know, people just are like not as, you know, willing to talk and hang out with you and stuff, but that's totally fine. Too. But we, you know, when we have those shows, we're like, you know, we just had 4 shows back to back where like anywhere between 60 and 150 people came, depending on the show. Like we got to play with Jeffrey Lewis in our hometown. And there was like, I don't even know, it was packed. Yeah. The person in that building. And it was a church style, and you couldn't fit another person in there. And then we had right before that, we had a show at, I can't even think, at Nectar's that was really cool in Burlington, or like we played another hometown show where 150 people came.
More recently, Bar Frida in
Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, New York City and Brooklyn. We played at Bar Frida with this band called Kablamo, and that was really amazing.
And it was a great experience, you know, far from home too.
Right.
That really gave us a morale boost. So yeah, I think again, up and down.
But honestly, we've had joked at certain points that we're writing music for, like, who's our music for? And a lot of times it's other bands' girlfriends. It's people's girlfriends. It's like because Harry has another band, and we're like, which band is for like people's girlfriends and girls? Like which one? which band? And it always like, yeah,
it's definitely not mine.
Yeah, you know, like Milk Street is like I don't know, I can't say it, I guess, because we're on the radio, but. Yeah. Milk Street's for the women, and Harry's other band's for men to cry to. You know what I mean? Yeah, like,
that's the best PG way you can say it.
Yeah.
That's the best PG way. Yeah.
Yeah. No, exactly. But yeah, but no, it's we
Milk Street's the before, Gunshots the after.
Yeah, and
now, is your name like the best conversation starter, no matter what topic? When Milk Street just comes, because you're 3 white teenagers or 3 white young adults named Milk Street, like that has to spark so many conversations, and in a way it's a marketing genius, because
no one's ever put it in that like frame. That's everyone's like, why milk? Like, do you really like milk? We actually had these really particularly attractive girls at one show come up to the stage after the show. And there's 3 girls, and the Suntiki one, yeah. And they said, so do you guys really like milk or what? And I was like, actually, we're all lactose intolerant.
Oh man, that's even better. That's even better.
And it totally I didn't mean to, but it totally shut down the conversation. I was like, they're like,
oh, that's not right. That could have let it go on.
Yeah, what did they want out of it? Like, it was funny though. Yeah, no, it sparked some interesting conversations for sure.
I think it's a good play. It really is, because it gets people talking and wanting to know more about you. You know, it may not have been intended like that, but like it definitely it'd be like, all right, let me find out more about these guys. And you said that your music's really like really great. That even is more icing to the cake when it comes to just the layers you guys can just bring when it comes to conversation and having people just explore your arts. That's beautiful, man. It really is.
Thank you. I think I remember when we first started as a band, when I first started like entertaining the idea of it being a band and getting serious and making our own stuff. One of the big things we'd always be like, are we punk? Are we this? Are we that? And this was like 2018. And one of the things Gabe and me always said were like, I don't want to be, I want to be genre less. And it was as a point then. But now we just kind of stopped trying to define it and just let it become what, as it's gotten bigger, it just became what it became or whatever.
Or kind of like Ween or something.
But Ween or something, yeah. But we like, I think it's kind of blended into like what we do. Like we've talked a lot about the idea of like, how did you put it with the acoustic guitar when there's a bunch of bands that have electric guitars? We're like,
we're subverting expectations. We're like, you put us in a box when you see us immediately, and then we completely subvert those expectations.
Right, like we have the acoustic guitar and everything, and then we get up there and if we have fuzz pedals and it sounds like Smashing Pumpkins or something, or Scratch Acid or whatever, and it's, you know what I mean? Like I love that I subverting expectations, and we just have done it really naturally, and that to me is cooler than like anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we didn't do it for expectations. Like Jonah loves playing a guitar, that's why he does it. Like I've tried to get him to go back to the electric like a million times. He just loves that fucking. Oh, sorry.
We love the freaking acoustic guitar.
Absolutely. Easy, I think you wanted to say something. I see the light bulb above your head.
Oh man, there's so many things I want to say. So many things I want to say
that you can say.
Oh, that I can say. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. No, but see, this is what is so super important. And again, you know, whether it be like the name or anything like that, you can't 100% take yourself super seriously when you're playing music or anything like that. Because remember, it's called playing.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to have a good time with it. And that should, you know, trickle through. I know that I just think it's amazing how many similarities I'm hearing in your guys' story to the Shame Penguin story in the same type of way. People want to talk about the name, people, you know, and we stumbled across that, you know, and, you know, where you want to stay stylish because you make music for, you know, the girlfriends, or like we say, we make music for the musicians. Because if you can make one of the other bands, you know, take that look and give you that gas face, you know that it's a good day. You know that you just had a phenomenal performance. You know, or if you're lucky enough to have a band say, "Oh man, I don't want to go on after that. That's ridiculous." Then you really have created greatness. But as you guys are continuing to evolve and grow, this is the second record. Now you're starting to get a little bit more experiences behind you. Do you see a different evolution in your songwriting? And what is your songwriting process like? Does Jonah just write the stuff, or are you all sit down and, you know, pen it out all together?
Well, honestly,
Jonah gets general ideas down.
He does a lot of the lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, he does a lot of the lyrics. He'll get general chord progressions down. Normally, I will say this. Normally, a verse is completely unchanged by me or Gabe, and then the chorus or bridge gets changed. I don't know why. Right. That's just what happens.
Yeah, oftentimes what'll happen, like for the last last two records rather, there's always been like 2 or 3 songs that I had at some point between like 2018 and now written. Like there was a time period where I was writing a song a day. And it sparked like Peyote. The song was one of those that I had written back when I was like 16, actually, at 2016 era. And then you know, Vermont was written in 2018. And those songs, like I had the verses and like an idea maybe for a chorus or an idea for a bridge down. And then like Harry said, like the verses kind of stayed the same, but then when we would get it together, all of us together, it would become something new. And then once we were like, okay, this is the vibe and this is what the album's sort of becoming, I write guitar stuff all the time. Like just every day, I'm just always noodling and trying to just jam out with myself, basically. And in that process, I'd kind of have my brain pre-fronted with those ideas that we had just created the night before or whatever. And that's how like this song, like Jesus Fish Taco, which was like something that was written later, that just kind of sparked out of like, okay, this is kind of the music I've been listening to, like Pine Grove or Alex G, and this is kind of what we've been playing, and it happened naturally, but it just happened to fit that vibe. but through that process too, there's plenty of songs that didn't fit the vibe of the album, but like we have one called we have like I mean we have like 30 songs right now, and that we're like kind of working around with and messing with. And there's like, you know, 5 or 6 of them that fit together and they feel like they could be on one album together, and then there's like another 5 or 6 that feel like they could be on another album together. So then we kind of we're at a point right now where we're like picking what songs we want to, like, you know, what direction do we want to go in? Do we want to, and some of it feels almost like there's some like car seat headrest or Interpol or I don't know, like the Smiths vibes even sometimes or stuff like that. And then that's fine. And then there's sometimes where we'll there's another album that feels like it could be like almost like the alternative, like Wilco alternative punk country type stuff, weirdly, like cowboy punk almost. So we're kind of like it goes back and forth for sure. But in terms of writing, like we usually have like a couple songs, and then we sit down and build the other ones that revolve around those songs together. And we've even sat down. All of us know how to play guitar. All of us know how to all of us can loosely at least play the other person's instrument that the other person has mastered or whatever. So like I can kind of play drums, or I can be like, try this, and Harry can play guitar very well. So we'll sit down and he'll be like, oh, what if you went to this chord here from this instead of that? And that might sound a little cool or more unique or whatever. So we definitely workshop it all together, but a lot of the original ideas usually stem from like either one thing or something. Just while we're jamming on stuff together, we'll just do something and we'll be like, that's cool.
Yeah, we've done a lot more of that lately, which has been fun. And I love that kind of songwriting that's really like spontaneous and about jamming. But it's definitely hard to do. You have to play with people a lot to get to that point where songwriting is jamming, you know?
Right.
But it can happen.
And it helps when we're right off the heels of a tour. Yeah. And then we'll go to our little space we have, and we'll put a mic in the middle of the room and just start. So I'm like, oh, this is an idea. What about this? Like, check this out. And I'll just start playing. And then we'll all start playing something. And then one time, literally, Harry jumped up the drums, and Grant picked up the bass, and Gabe jumped on the drums. And then one of the newest songs we've been working on that's really becoming something, it was made that way. And Harry kind of wrote the bass line, and then we switched back, and Gabe refined the bass line, and Harry refined the drums. And then, you know, so it's pretty cool that we can kind of collaborate in that way. And kind of it's a big moving machine.
It is a big move machine, and it is really cool on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City made EZ BlueZ is in the building. We got the Milk Street Band with us. Easy, what you got to say?
Well, no, I think it's absolutely incredible. And actually, the term that we use when you're just dialed in and you're writing out of a jam, we call it tuning into the radio, because that's what the radio wanted us to play. So that's what gets played. And I love that there are other bands that are doing that. For a second, I thought that was just us, but no. Okay, cool. We're not as special as I thought we were. But as you are growing and you know you're dealing with the different the writing aspects, it seems like you guys are very album centric when it comes down to writing, and that alone makes you stand out in an industry, because we're in a TikTok industry where everything's 15 seconds. You know, it's all about getting the single out and getting that single out, and then that next single out, and that next single out, and that next single out. But you're talking about crafting an album. And it's something that we never get a chance to talk about on this show. So I want to really talk about it and really like dive into it. How important is that to you guys? You know, not only crafting the album, but crafting the album that you want to go on the road with. And then you want to tell this story night after night after night after night after night.
Yeah, that's really important. It's the most important thing to us, I think, really, just because
You get him?
I think we lost him for a second. Oh, wait, you're back.
Well, there's the highway.
You're on the highway, so we understand we might lose you.
We kind of get this. So
can you repeat that answer?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're deep in it.
Oh no.
Highway's crazy with singles, man. It really is. Like when you what's that long oh my god.
Jersey Turnpike?
I believe so. Or huge bridge. Out of nowhere, you just lose it, and it just drops. All your bars drop, and you get a little mad. You could be watching the video, send a text message, whatever.
Oh no, there you are. You're back.
We got him back.
All right, cool.
Yeah. want to
Perfect.
get that last thing you guys
Sorry
just
about
said.
that, guys.
No, it's
No,
all right.
it
It's not your
happens.
fault. Out of your control. We understand you guys are multitasking right now. We appreciate your time. So just try to remember like
No,
the
we
last
guys.
8 seconds that you were talking about. That's where you
Yeah.
dropped off.
Yeah, no, we were just saying that I think for us, like, that's the most important thing, really.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it's having an album. Like, we have released a few singles, and we don't even like standalone singles, and we don't even really play them anymore. And they were like an expression of stuff. That I think that album, like, and having a piece of work, like a part of like a piece of art that is defined by everything that it contains. Like, I think a lot about like my favorite records, you know what I mean, as opposed to songs. Like, some of my favorite records, like both the later Nirvana records, like Smells Like Teen Spirit, or are like pieces of work that are part of their collection of work. And I think that it's easy to just release stuff and have it be just trying to throw stuff at the wall and hoping something sticks. I feel like it's more of like a desperate grab as opposed to of like some type of success, as opposed to like sit down, okay, I'm creating something and I'm trying to make something and I'm trying to tell a story here.
Yeah, and also I think the other thing that's tough is like the culture has completely shifted away from records. And it's the most, I feel it's so much more rewarding than just recording a bunch of singles all the time.
Right.
So for me, it's kind of a rebellion for my own enjoyment, I guess, to focus on making a really good record more than anything. Because it's you know, it doesn't really matter to me like what it accomplishes to release the single. I'll release the single. I just want to focus on the record, you know, because to me that's the more like gratifying thing than getting the plays or whatever.
And we released a few singles actually for this album. And the one was the one called Peyote. And I think it was the most refined in terms of the mixing process.
So definitely,
that was the only one mixed by the person that it was mixed by too. So I think that is the one that's still and mastered, and that one is still the one that's like, you know, still has the most streams and still gets the most weekly streams and everything like that. But then there's all of the other songs on the record that I really love, and even more than that song, and I love playing them even more. And the people then who want to can go and listen to that, because I still buy vinyl. Like, I collect vinyl, and you can't put one song on vinyl. You know what I mean? I want to be able to have our records on vinyl.
No, that is very true. And vinyl is so super important, you know, and it's something that we were talking about as well. Because for all those that are listening at home, you can actually pre-order their vinyl of their latest record right now. If you jump over to their Bandcamp, you can pre-order or onto their website or their record label's website as well, which is really, really awesome. And it's so super important. Look, you sit in there, you buy the record, and the money's actually going to go to the artists, which is important. You know, you can stream the songs 1.5 million times, and we want you to stream those songs 1.5 million times. But to get the amount of money we were going to get from that $20 record, we're going to get that you know, at a lot quicker and a lot better if you go and actually buy the physical copy of the record itself. I'm a big fan of the records and a big fan of listening to records. What's in your guys' playlist right now? Because you are traveling, you're on the road. So what is your road playlist like?
That's actually funny, because on our Spotify, you can make playlists and add playlists to your Spotify that you made or whatever. And we actually have a playlist in there that is like we update it monthly with songs we've been listening to on the road. It's called As We Cruised Into, a Milk Street playlist. Cool. We always are thinking about this.
Jonah, Gabe, and I have pretty different music tastes, but we all have a lot of crossover. Jonah plays a lot of like Built to Spill right now.
Yeah, and
that's what I've been noticing. The front bottoms constantly.
Car seat headrest a lot. Yep. A lot of the Pixies, a lot of Slaughter Beach Dog. Hey, what do you play?
I've been playing, like, I listen to a lot of Silver Jews and Pavement on this tour. I mean, those are like two of my favorite bands. And then also, like, you know, I've been listening to a lot of Mazzy Star on this tour. I don't know, Gabe, what have you been playing?
I don't have a good answer for that right now.
A lot of Oso probably.
I appreciate the honesty.
House.
A lot of Modest Mouse. A lot of Modest Mouse.
Cool.
Nice. Now, as you guys are going forward, do you think that you're going to expand more? Like, have you guys thought about what the West Coast is going to look like for you guys? Or are you just kind of like building into hitting further south first?
I thought about that. I do a lot of the booking. We have a guy who helps us now. They're called Don't Blink Management, and they do a lot of booking too. In addition to what I do, before that I was doing all of it. So I'm always kind of thinking about what the next thing is. In February, we're planning a tour with an artist from New Jersey that I actually love, called Little Hag, and I love her music. She has a song called Cherry that is amazing, and actually the bassist for the Front Bottoms produced the album, which
Nice.
the Front Bottoms. So it's very cool and serendipitous. But with that one, we are talking about going like, New Jersey south, New North Carolina maybe, or even Georgia maybe, who knows. And it'll be like a week and a half or so long.
Nice.
And then in May, in the summer, we're definitely looking ahead at what we might do. We're probably going to do a big circle up through Canada, go out to Ohio and stuff. But by the end of next year, I would love to have been to the West Coast. That would be amazing if we could. We have a band we played with the other day in New Hampshire on Halloween. He's from Seattle, and he was saying he'd love to have us out there. We have some friends in LA that might want to have us out. So we're kind of
I would love to go out west, like more than anything.
Yeah, there was a guy who kind of blew up on TikTok, and I've talked to him quite a few times. We're not super tight, but what is his name? He has a gap between his two front teeth, and he's like, he's popular right now on TikTok. But we talked to him before. I had found his music before he kind of blew up, and he's like, come out to LA sometime, and I'll hook you guys up, and we'll do something together. So,
Nice.
experimental punk electronic kind of stuff. But so we have some avenues. We've made a lot of friends that we can kind of do this with now. So it's more feasible now than ever, which is amazing.
So now, of course, for the complete and total personal and aspect, the tour that you got coming up in February, are you going to be coming through New Haven?
Yes, we're about doing
Yeah?
New Haven. Hopefully we'll do like New Haven, Brooklyn, Jersey, and then go down and do like DC, Baltimore, Pennsylvania, and then North Carolina. Hopefully, would be amazing.
Let's talk about it because let's put a show
There you go.
together for New Haven. Let's put a show together. We'll say it like Stella's, us, you guys, and the other touring act. It'll be a great time, and we'll do it like on like a Wednesday or something, just to be weird.
That would be perfect, dude. Seriously, that'd be amazing.
All right. Well, now we've spoken it out into the universe. I'm gonna go get it squared away at Stella's. Afterwards, we'll talk about dates and different things like that. But enough about that. Let's talk about how awesome you guys are. Now, when you guys do perform, have you ever thought about doing, like, I call it the fire drill switch, because you guys are multi-instrumental? Halfway through the set, you guys are just going to switch up instruments, and you're going to play drums and he's going to play bass, and and then you're going to hit rotate again.
Right. We haven't thought about it too seriously because, like, I have another band that plays. So it's where I'm playing guitar and Gabe's on bass.
And I'm playing.
Yeah. And so it's like,
so we get that out.
Yeah, we have that. We do that anyway a little bit here and there. So it's like, but we've done it with covers and such, kind of. Yeah. I would definitely love to do more of it on tour, because when we're touring, we're not doing anything else. So it'd be fun to like switch it up a little bit and maybe incorporate some of that if we just want to do some covers. Or even just do some slower stuff where I could come out and just sing with Jonah or whatever, just so that the shows feel a little more dynamic. But like overall, we haven't thought about it too much. I would have thought we would have thought about it more.
Yeah. We did an acoustic set the other night where Harry played banjo, Gabe played another guitar.
It was a great time. It felt like such a good change of pace for us.
Yeah, and Gabe played guitar, and I did what I usually do, but it was all acoustic, and Harry sang with the banjo and everything, and that was awesome. So we've been talking about maybe even incorporating something like that into our set, like maybe in the middle with it. But we're still kind of figuring that out. For the next tour, we'll be playing a few new songs. We'll be playing like the best songs off this record as opposed to the whole record, and stuff like that. So.
Well, no, it's super interesting, and actually, we had Stephen Chopek on the show a couple of months ago, and he was talking about when he was on tour with Mike Doughty, and how they actually toured as two different bands on the same bill. They were, I think, Angry Baby Men, or the
Right,
Baby Men, and
Angry
then
Baby
M
Man.
Doughty, Angry Baby Men,
Mm.
and then M Doughty,
right. And we've
and
talked
you
Talked
guys could
about
totally do that.
no, literally, we've talked about doing that often, a lot actually, just like doing a tour with like both of our projects and doing,
Right.
literally pushing up after our set.
No,
So,
I think that'd be great, and it'd be a fantastic way to go about things. Plus, I mean, that also kind of means double payday if we're being real.
yeah, that's true.
You
That's
know,
true. That is
you're like, I get the Milk Street gets the headlining fee of such and such, and Band
right.
Two gets the touring fee of such and such, and that's how writers are created, and that's how us musicians are able to eat. And then maybe next time it's a lot less spending time in in the car, and a little bit more time maybe in a hotel, or when you guys
Right.
are out here, if you guys ever need a place to crash, feel free to hit me up, man. Like
Hey,
I got air mattresses. I do have kids though, so
that's whatever, man. We're down for whatever. That's amazing. Thank you. We really appreciate that.
yeah.
of course.
The album's name Vermont.
Yeah, it's called Vermont. It's about a road trip that when I was just starting college, lyrically at least, I took to it's about a road trip I took to Vermont with my cousin who we were raised like brothers originally, and both had younger siblings, and our parents were really busy with them and stuff like that. Both have loving parents and everything, but when we moved out of the house together,
Yeah.
both moved in, and then we kind of both felt like we had like a really solid like family that had like each other's undying attention, I guess. Like we had jobs and stuff, but we just lived together, and we always had each other's backs, and it was this really amazing moment where I kind of finally felt like I had something like stable family wise, I guess.
Mhm.
And uh and then we took this trip to Vermont to meet his or see his now wife, who is one of my best friends. And they were dating at the time, and she went to college, and I was like, it was the first time in my life that I was like, oh my god, I'm doing something just for me. It's not like I'm not growing up in the sense that I'm getting a job
Mhm.
necessarily in college. I am doing those things, or was, but it was kind of like I'm doing the first grown up thing that is just what I want to do because I want to do it. Like, and we left at like 9 p.m. for Vermont, and we got there, and it was something, and at like 3 a.m. and kind of partied at night, and it was just, but then the people we met there felt like family, and it was just this first time I ever felt something really like wholesome in my life like that,
Mm.
like truly. And then a bunch of other things ensued, which what's all throughout the album, like Free Acid and like
Yeah.
all those songs. And that's kind of the album kind of follows that whole time period of my life. So yeah.
Come of age type of vibe you're trying to bring in.
Yeah, and
I got
I
you.
tried to, a lot of coming of age stories are corny and kind
Mhm.
of really big things, but I tried to really talk about the like more nitty gritty, like the
Mhm.
weird feel, or the uncomfortability you feel with relationships, and how the guilt you might feel of letting someone down, even if they're being emotionally abusive in a relationship, and you have to end it, but you feel guilt still, like stuff like that are more like, yeah, this is what real life is, sort of.
And that's when you experiment with the sounds, like you experiment with different country infused sounds, the psychedelic, just as you tell your story throughout your album in Vermont.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, we kind of we added some banjo sounds, some more like
Mhm.
bluegrass kind of, and that was also organic. We just happened to have a banjo in the studio, and we were
Or fun.
yeah,
Nothing else.
it was just a joke, sort of. And
Yeah.
there's like
Yeah.
there's like some record of like my half full metal water
Yeah,
bottle.
yeah, you
that I'm-
smack
yeah,
metal or something.
and it just sounded cool. And Harry was
Mhm.
like, "What if I slide banjo?" And we'll have that as like on my credits on the album, my drums and slide banjo. And then we ended up keeping.
We
doing
kept
that.
like we have multiple slide banjo tracks. I hope you guys know.
Yeah, literally.
Nice. Nice.
Nothing
see,
wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
That's what's so fun about things. We've done it as well, where we actually have on the single Sam Jackson, we have a theremin solo.
That's
you know,
sick. Yeah,
and
that's sick.
only not because any of us knew what we were doing, because the bass player went, I could do that, and he just went into the studio and did it. But it's that type of freedom that encourages the artist to continue to come out and continue to be drawn out, that you really, really, really get to have so much more fun. And it's we are on air, so I have to say it's the forget it type of vibe where you're just like, yeah, forget it. It'll be fun. It'll be funny. You know, if you can make yourselves laugh, then you guys are on to something that is so genuinely beautiful. And you guys have been able to do that. Even, you know, waiting at the show, you guys were always right next to each other, always making each other laugh, always making sure that the three of you were always taken care of. I think that's a huge testament to the caliber of human beings you guys are. Did you guys meet like in regular high school, or was this, you know, did you meet in a 4-H club? Please tell me you met in a 4-H club, because Milk Street with the album from Vermont needs to meet at the 4-H club.
Well, I know they didn't meet on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City made EZ BlueZ is in the building. Milk Street. I want to know your story. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we actually Gabe and me met through an ex-girlfriend that I had.
Oh wow.
I was dating a girl, and they were raised together as like they were just best friends growing up. And then you know, her and me broke up once, the first out of the three. And she and then I was like, I'm gonna ask him that kid to hang out. He seemed cool. And then we hung out, and it was insane. I don't even remember everything. It was crazy. And then we were like, what, 14 or so, maybe 15. And then and I had known him growing up from other mutual friends too, just when I was young, but never really hung out. But that was
okay.
And we just kept hanging out, and then her and me got back together, and then eventually her and me like broke up for good, and we just started hanging out constantly. And then we started making music together, and then we were playing in another band. Well, it was like it's the same band, really. Like but it was called Spaced, and we had a different drummer, who was in group too. And then we would play around locally mostly, and we met Harry, who was playing in other bands. One's called Borzoi, one's called Gunshot Glitter, a bunch of bands.
I like that name, Gunshot Glitter.
Yeah, that's the band that
it comes from Jeff Buckley B-side.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
It does.
All right.
Album.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got somebody knows. Let's go.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh, we best friends now. I hope you guys know that. Like we hit the best friend zone
after that.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
But then Harry, when Josh, our one of our best friends, but the person who used to drum for Space, which is what we named the first album, because when we changed the name, we just released the album as the original name. But when he left, we were like, who could drum for us? And the immediate thought was Harry, like hands down best drummer.
Didn't Josh say it too?
And even our old drummer was like, you should message Harry. And
very sweet.
Harry had filled in on a show that we had that Josh couldn't play at once. And it was like we barely practiced together, and it just clicked. It went so well. So it was just like a duh moment. Like, of course it's gonna be Harry. And we hadn't even really hung out much before that, like on a personal note.
We didn't hang out too much.
But then we become like all like brothers. We couldn't imagine doing this with anyone else now.
Yeah,
it's
for real.
insane. So,
all right. Easy. What's your thought process? Because I see you smiling so hard.
Oh yeah, because this is so much fun for me. Because I love hearing the realities of all this stuff, and you know, especially when you know there are bands. Like I never have an opinion on a band until I've seen them live. You know, because you could do any sorts of trick you can have in the studio, and you can make things sound completely ridiculous. But when you do it live, and your guys' energy, your live show, it's different. Because, you know, and again, it's that expectation aspect of it. A lot of people are going to see someone standing up there with someone looking like a cardigan sweater and an acoustic guitar and expect you to be, you know, whining about something. And all of a sudden you kick in that fuzz pedal and you just like uppercut them in the face with this amazing sound. What is that process like for you guys?
We're also whining about a lot.
We are whining, for sure.
No, you're not whining. You're complaining. It's different.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Drunkenly complaining is what we're doing.
Yes.
It's more Bukowskian for sure. But it's but we
Bukowskian. New word.
But yeah, no, it is like it's a very, very fun where when we go up, we've even played with a lot of like hardcore bands or metal bands back home because there's not many bands, so you just play with whoever. And a lot of times we've had, but especially if they don't know us at all, like even as people,
Right.
we'll go up, almost do the eye roll thing and stand in the back with their arms crossed, and they're like, whatever, like. And then I kick into the fuzz pedal, and then you see like a face of like surprise. You know what I mean? And yeah, like that's right.
Yeah,
you didn't know. You thought you knew, but you didn't, bro. And that kind of stuff is like my favorite. Like I love that. And
No, that's what makes a salacious set. Okay?
it's it makes us salacious. It's
Can you say that on the air?
it's I think you
Yeah,
said it.
salacious is fine. And
Yeah.
anyone else, we're having a salacious time, but unfortunately, the Apollo curtain is starting to be pulled upon us. But we want to give these last couple of minutes to you guys so people can find out how they can connect with you, how they can follow you, how they can invest in you, and
Yes,
in
yes.
everything that you guys do. It's been an honor and a privilege, and we just want to thank you guys so much. But this time is yours, Milk Street. How can people get on Milk Street?
I mean, we're on Spotify, Apple Music, we're on Deezer, Napster, all this stuff. I mean, if you don't like the music, put it on when you go to bed and let it
Pandora,
loop.
bro.
It'll make us pennies overnight. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, but we
Get
do have,
your mom on the Pandora.
yeah,
On the Milk Street. That's how
literally.
you can get on
But-
Milk Street.
But we are on Instagrams where we post most of our shows. Facebook
Right.
we do as well. But it's Instagram, Spotify, and then we do have like you said, we have vinyl pre-orders right now that are coming. They'll be out in December. Finally, we'll be getting them in. We have CDs, we have shirts that are available online as well. But just listen to our music and try and dig it. I mean, show your friends, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Your
that
friends
that
will
means the
probably
world.
like it more than your mom.
More than
I
your
take
mom.
that back.
We even have music videos on YouTube, and we post some like vlog style, like almost like tour recap type things of us. Just like our friend follows us around, videos, everything. So we're kind of on all the social medias and stuff. But yeah, buy our vinyl. That's like the biggest thing that's gonna help us. And we have CDs too. But if you order a vinyl, you do get a free CD with it. So.
Where can they pre-order the vinyl?
BarelyAliveRecords.com. And you just search up Milk Street once you're on the website, or we do have the pre-order available on our Bandcamp as well. So that will help us as well. But either of those places. The link's right in our Instagram as well.
Nice. There we go. Milk Street, we appreciate you. And just one more thing before you go, because we got like at least like a half minute left. What's one thing you three collectively, professional or personal, are mutually thankful for before we go off?
PBR.
There we go. Simple to the point. I like you guys. Simple and to the point. Let's go.
And women.
There you go. Hey, it's honesty. We appreciate this honesty right here on the program, and we thank you.
Venues that
I
are
would like
give
to
us it.
thank patchouli oil and falafel.
Yeah, falafels, dude. We eat falafel every day. Or every single night we eat falafel.
Then you gotta make a New Haven visit for falafel. We got a lot of good
Yeah, we
falafel
got
places
you.
here. We got plenty.
Falafel
And-
King,
Baller.
Falafel King, or whatever
Oh,
in
man.
New Haven. Oh my
Yep.
God. Moomins. Moomins.
Mamoons.
Mamoons. I was
Mamoons.
just about to say Mamoons. At least you've been there. All right, there you go. Mamoons. Yes.
where it
That's
all
what I was leaning towards. You can't go wrong with that.
All right, so in February, we're all going out for falafel at Mamoons.
Absolutely.
And you want to know something? We'll live stream
There we go.
us eating with Milk Street at Mamoons in February.
Mamoons is where I fell in love with falafel. 100. And my stepdad's from Pakistan, and he had falafel growing
Oh,
up.
wow.
They just compared to Mamoons.
There you go. Well, we want to thank you for your time, Milk Street. We do appreciate you, myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City made, EZ Blues. And this has been Behind the Brand.
Thank you so much, guys. Seriously.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate you. Thank you. Definitely. Much love.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.